In this video, we're going to add data validation to an Excel spreadsheet, which is one of the requirements in Microsoft's new MO-220 and MO-230 exams. Hello, I'm Philip Burton of idodata.com, and in this video, we've got a spreadsheet where we can currently just enter any information. So, for example, I can change the accounting number from 1100 to 11,000. I can change the date so that it is March the 1st, 2127. I can change the debit so that it is negative. And here you can see how the accounting format shows negative numbers in brackets or parentheses, as opposed to currency, which shows it before the dollar sign in this case. If you're wondering what these hashes or pound signs are, it's because you can't have a negative number as a date. Now, you might also see these hashes and pound signs when you have date, but the column width is too small to be able to display it. So you might see hashes or pound signs for dates. So I don't want negative numbers. I want to say that my account number must be 4 digits, and I want to say that my dates must be between certain values. And I can do all of this with data validation. So let's have a look at if I highlight columns D and E and I go to data validation. So we have got settings. So this says I want these particular values. And at the moment, the values are any value. So I can type in anything I want. But I can change that. So I can say I just want whole numbers or decimals between certain values, or not between, or equal to, or greater than or equal to, or the opposite of those. So I want numbers between 0 and 30,000, for example. So let's click OK, and then try and change this figure from 8,000 to 80,000. And I get a not very user-friendly message. This value doesn't match the data validation restrictions defined for this cell. I can click retry to go back to the figure and try again, or I can press cancel to revert to the previous value. So let's change that error message. So I'll go back into data validation. So here we can see our data validation, and I can go to the error alert tab. And it says show error alert after invalid data is entered. So we can have that unchecked. And if that's unchecked, then I can indeed enter invalid data. So why might I want this? Well, it might be I want to set up data validation rules, but not enforce them at the moment. We'll have a look in the next video at how we can use these data validation rules to identify data outside of what we expect. So let's go back into data validation, and the error message. So I will check show error alert after invalid data is entered, and I can choose a style. So stop stops me from entering invalid data. Warning says, are you sure? And information just displays a dialog box. So the difference between information and warning is that you get, are you sure? Yes, no. So you get the option to add this invalid data. So I'll change this to a warning, and the title is, are you sure? And the error message, you should not enter negative numbers or numbers above, and I put in 30,000. So let's say $30,000. Are you sure? So now if I change this 8,000 to minus 8,000, then I get a are you sure dialog box. So I can say no, and then I can change it, or I can say yes to accept this value which is outside of what I would expect. I can also apply this data validation to dates. So if I go back in, then at the moment I'm allowing all values. Now if I go down to date, I can say it must be between, and this little pointer here, this allows me to select a cell. So I could say from cell A2 to cell A35. So that says I want the data to be between the 1st of January 2027 and the 1st of March 2028. Or alternatively, I could put in hard-coded dates, so actual values. So I can say the 1st of January 2000 and the 31st of December 2099. So that way it will stay in this century. And again, I'm going to have this as a warning. Are you sure? This date is outside of the current century. So now if I try changing this to the 1st of January 1927, I will get this potential error message. And similarly, if I change this to the year 2127. And then finally for this video, I want this account number to have 4 digits, not 3, not 5. So if I select the entire column and go to Data, Data Validation, Data Validation. So I could say I want this to be a whole number between 1000 and 9999. I could say it needs to be from a list. So I would have a list over here perhaps and click on this arrow and select that list, and then all of the items would need to be in that list. But I'm going to use text length instead. So I'm going to say that the text length needs to be equal to 4. And if not, again, I just want a warning. So should be 4 digits. Are you sure? And click OK. So now I can change this to 12,000. And I get this warning. Am I sure? Yes, I'm sure. So in this video, we've had a look at how to apply data validation rules to restrict the input. So we select the range that we want this data validation to apply to and go to Data, Data Validation, Data Validation. And we can select the settings, so what data we want to allow, and the error message. The other tab, Input Message, is nothing to do with the actual data validation itself. So if I select column C and go back into Data, Data Validation, and go into the Input Message, this shows a message when the cell is selected. So I can say computer generated. This data is based from the account number because the account number 1100 should be bank operating each time. So if I click OK and go into the cell, you can see that this message appears. It's not, for me, directly related to data validation, but it could help the end user if you say the sort of information that you expect to be in this cell before they enter it. And then finally, if you want to remove any data validation, then in this dialog box, in the Settings box, you can click on Clear All to remove all of the validation. But I'm going to click Cancel because I don't want that to be removed. And this is how you can add data validation rules. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. And this is just one of the skills that you can learn if you prepare for the MO-220 Microsoft Office Specialist Excel for Accounting Associate exam or the MO-230 Microsoft Office Specialist Excel for Business Finance Associate. For more information about these two new certifications, please have a look at our video on the end screen. If you enjoyed this video, then please click the like, and why not subscribe and click that bell. That way you'll be notified of any new videos. I'm Philip Burton of idodata.com. Thanks for watching and keep learning.